also salt in the wounds for the Terran. I bet he's really wishing he got that that Cyclone now. This Widow Mine has been detected, so it's going to get gunned down. Clean up for Deer. As the dust settles, the Protoss still around where they want to be with workers.
Yeah, I mean, fairly even damage being done on both sides, but killing the Mule at full health and stuff, like we look at the workers killed, it's way better for Deer here, just because he actually dealt with those 3 Widow Mines as well and killed the Mules. SpeCial's mining's been absolutely destroyed here. He is going for a 3rd CC behind this, so there's no like follow-up all-in or anything, and it looks like he's going for a bio opening here too, which is very, very standard, getting the tanks and what have you.
I've not seen a Reaper loaded into a main base through a medevac before, or a Reaper lifted by a Phoenix and gunned down for that matter. Usually the Reaper's done by the time a Phoenix and Oracle's out.
I think the medevac trying to escape actually got shut down, so even though he killed 2 probes with this, was it worth it for a Reaper and a medevac?
Not really.
Not quite, not quite.
Yeah, the trades have not been great here for SpeCial, as we see. Marpu bringing it up for all you guys at home. 7 probe kills is nice, but a lot of gas has been lost here. Quite a few expensive units for SpeCial. And a lot of hurt SCVs in the mineral line as well, which means they're going to continue to be vulnerable to the Phoenixes. One shot, easy peasy on those SCVs. Robotics Bay dropping here for the Protoss. 3rd base is up and running as well. Things looking very solid right now for Deer.
Yeah, he's done nothing wrong so far. It really feels like he's doing everything right. He's got his 3rd base up and running. He's making lots of probes. He's also teching up pretty darn well. Looks like he's going to be heading into like Colossus tech / Disruptor tech. Hasn't gone for the super early Forges either, which means he's going to have a lot of units out in the field. And the fact that he has that Phoenix squad with the Oracle, he just has map control, and the Terran can't really leave his base until he gets stim, so he's feeling very comfortable.
Absolutely. Throwing in some Immortals here as well to help out with the Marauders if that push comes later. It's a good unit to have. You don't want too many of them. Obviously, once the Robotics Bay is done, you do want to go towards splash damage, and there it is. Colossus is going to be the choice here from Deer to start things off with. Also picking off a few more SCVs with that run by of Phoenixes.
This is just free damage that he's getting,
Absolutely.
Free map control, and he's kind of bullying SpeCial a little bit, and this is exactly what SpeCial didn't want to happen. He wants to dictate the pace of the game. He wants to make the life difficult for his opponent, and so far, Deer's like, hey man, I'm the one that's showing you how to play this game, and I'm just doing everything right that I can. Goes into charge, +1 behind this, he's getting Colossus, getting Thermal Lance, he's just getting everything right.
Looks like he, nearly picks up that Phoenix. Didn't have another shot there on that Cyclone. Deer once again picking up another SCV, yet to lose any of those air units. SpeCial's infrastructure's been slowed down, his build's been slowed down. He is going to have 1-1 stim and combat shield soon, and usually with that, the Terran wants to go across the map. But there is already a Colossus out for Deer.
Oh, this could be a big pick-off as well on that Raven. A Raven for 1 Phoenix, that's a trade you take any day of the week. That means that there is no longer any threat to your Colossus besides the ground units, the tanks, can no longer be interference matrixed. Yeah, that's really, really bad for SpeCial. Though, SpeCial, he's been powering up macro-wise. Like, he's actually caught Deer up despite all the bad things that have gone wrong for him.
He's looking pretty healthy, and the 3rd's landed now, so he's mining off of that. So mining-wise, the Terran's in a pretty good spot. Economically, it's fine. But I know you want to push with +1 attack, but do you here as SpeCial if you know those Colossus are there and you lose that Raven? It seems so dicey. I like this drop though, especially considering I don't think Deer's seen it.
No, this could be really, really wily. So this army on the right, this is just a distraction army. He just wants to try and lure him away, try and trick him away. And look at those Marines in the main base. They are darting into the mineral line.
Wow.
Lots of damage being done by SpeCial.
Great move from SpeCial. He's in the Widow Mine. He's in the mineral line before SpeCial even realizes it. He's in there, gunning down 9 probes. And still in there, by the way, while he kites these Zealots back to his 3rd base. Really good move from SpeCial.
Does he take out the Oracle as well? Wow. No more revelation.
Okay. Good trade there for the Terran. Very, very nice.
And look at the worker count here, Maynard. 66 for the Terran against 57 of Deer. That was the kind of move that SpeCial needed, and we talked about it. Does he want to be moving out across the map? And in fact, yes, he does. He found a blind spot in that main base, which you could be like, man, why doesn't Deer have pylons everywhere? Well, I don't think he felt he needed to, but upon taking that damage, takes a 4th base immediately.
Really good move from SpeCial, but he does have a lot of Protoss to deal with still. Deer absolutely has an army that must be respected, and he's going to have stim, rather, what's the... I was going to say Protoss stim. I'm using the wrong words for upgrades here. He's got himself some Storm, and that is a problem for SpeCial. His Ghost Academy has only just finished. Widow Mine's heading towards that 3rd Nexus. Deer, no reaction just yet. Uh-oh.
This could be a lot of damage, Maynard. This mineral line just goes pop, along with all those probes. 11 probes down, but no, this is really looking bad for SpeCial now.
Yeah, he's done probe damage, but can he actually stop the army? That Storm hitting that bio, really softening it up. He does have some tanks to the buck line here to help out, but I don't think it's enough firepower from the Terran. His SCV is creating a little bit of wall for his bio against the charge blocks, but as the Colossus get closer and closer, there's still so much Storm energy on these High Templar as well, to Muslim. I'm not loving these chances for Special to hold this push.
No, and the Colossus, they're pretty darn healthy. The Warp Prism also just keeping the units alive. The Vikings coming from the right side, but the Storms land on the left.
They certainly do. And the Colossus even being juggled in the Prism. Cute moves from Deer, and he does steal away game number 1 after taking a ton of economic damage in the mid stages.
I love that little fist pump, you know, like he's not too kind of thrown off after that, you know. It's not often you just have everything so easily thwarted. And then the Phoenix come across and bully you a little bit too, and then your opponent has not just 1, but like 3 Colossus with the counterattack and Storm.
Yeah.
I really like a lot of the things that Dia did, and getting the Storm as well, not really opting for like double Forge upgrades. He knew he had a timing window, which was going to be the Colossus Storm attack, and he just utilized it greatly.
Yeah, I mean, sort of nails that mid-game focus that what he was talking about on the desk, where Dia really feels like doesn't need to necessarily invest in the late game, but going for those forges, getting those upgrades. He knows he's going to have that big army supply. He's very much read the situation correctly. And he's being very careful with scouting as well here. That probe looking absolutely everywhere in there. Every nook and cranny of Simulacrum near his main. Make sure the Terran's not hiding anything cheeky on him.
You know what's sad about this situation, though? I feel that Special's build, given that he did this in game 1, like the proxy racks, this is like a fake proxy. I think he actually wanted to get scouted very, very quickly by a probe, and then cause his opponent to get the Cyber Core before the Nexus, get the Zealot out, and then it's like, haha, no, I'm not doing any sort of like cheeky proxy racks across the map. I just wanted to fake it. So the fact that he hasn't been scouted by anything yet, that's kind of problematic in Special's eyes, but we'll see what he does next.
Probe coming up here for a look and seeing the factory. Deer not starting a Zealot or anything like that. The Cyber Core's done, so straight into the Stalker. And even though he did go Cyber Core before Nexus, his build's not been slowed down too much at all from Special's building placement. Reaper going across the map right now. Get the Terran a little bit of information here, but we don't expect any damage, just for scouting.
I kind of like the fact that he didn't use the Reaper to go deal with this probe, still making him think that there's a barracks on the map potentially, that he has no idea what it's going to be used for. It's just these little kind of mind games and just trying to prevent the lack of information from your opponent. But now he sees the Reaper, hasn't really been able to get anything done. So Dia so far, he can just be like, well, you've done something a bit weird this game. You've obviously delayed your CC and got up a really fast factory, and so far I've taken no damage and I'm not scared of you. That being said, he is getting the shield battery, and I don't know if that's like in his main or natural at the front, so he is respecting Special here, but he's definitely going to have a slight economic lead.
We do see a Stalker going across the map here, which I think is a really good call. I was about to mention it because he did see with his probe before it died that there's a natural expansion for Special, and it's always a nice gut check when your opponent's expanding on the low ground, whether or not they have a bunker or anything down here. You can sometimes grab that SCV and slow down the command center. He's trying to do that now. In fact, he's doing a good job of it so far, denying some building here.
This Widowmine getting in a decent position, though, and it doesn't fall, so that's a really big deal. Oh, these Marines, one wanders forward a bit too far, and he's dancing with that Widowmine pretty darn intelligently. Oh, is he going to knock into... No! Oh,
that would have been Pimpus plays, I think.
I was hoping just for his sake, but you know what could have happened there? If he did actually get the Stalker kill, then the Stalkers would have been like, well, there's nothing stopping me from running in now and actually delaying this CC even more.
Yeah, quite right. No bunker still.
Yeah, it's very, very ballsy. Now he goes to the bunker, realizing that is potentially a threat.
Now, these two Stalkers just being annoying here just basically means that Special can't do anything with these Marines just yet. When the bunker's done, he's good to go. Blink on the way for Deer. Robo back at home, which can sometimes spiral into an aggressive follow-up. So any extra gateways as well. There is one Widowmine drop there. Oh, if Deer's paying attention, and he was because he just clicked on that probe there, he knows that the drop's on the way. Very safe to grab that third Nexus. Nothing that Widowmine can do about that. And he moves in to intercept that medevac.
Very unusual, by the way, the one Widowmine drop from the medevac.
Yeah.
And like, what's he opting for back at home? He's getting the Raven again. He's just playing fairly standard behind all this, but seeing that your opponent's already taken the third base and such, like, this isn't the best spot for Special at all. So we're probably going to see him do some moves later on that are quite risky, just because he has to play a little bit crazy to try and get back into this series. And we see just that, a third CC starts. Again, this seems to be the new meta from Terrans in TVP.
Yeah, you're not wrong. It used to be all about two base attacks.
Yeah.
You know, getting 5 barracks and pushing across the map with a Raven, locking down the Colossus and just getting yourself a cheap and easy win. But Terrans have been liking a little bit more of the economic follow-up in this game, just making sure that they're safe and then getting that third CC next to the main, floating it out later, which Deer, ooh, I think may have just scouted there with that hallucinated Phoenix.
Even if you just saw the Raven, that's kind of a big deal, because it's like, oh, okay, you have a Raven? That means you're going to be getting stim slower, combat shield slower, and it also means you can actually assert dominance on the map. Double Forge this game, Maynard.
All right, so Deer this time not afraid of making it go a little bit longer. Gonna make sure he's got those upgrades up, so just in case he doesn't snatch an easy quick one, and have a much more powerful army versus the Terran. Once again, poking that bunker, just checking, making sure that there's no tank. If there is no tank, he can be very annoying here, especially with Blink.
And I do believe he does have Blink, right? And this Observer coming up to the main base, is that second tank going to be out in time?
Looks like it will be. No reaction from Deer here, so there'll be a few probes going down, literally, just 3.
That's not too bad, and the tank is out now. And I mean, those Blink Stalkers definitely want to go in the main, but wow, they just went for it straight away. And this will slow down SpeCial a little bit, just making his life difficult by dancing around. But man, this is quite ballsy by Deer.
Yeah, I mean, SpeCial's kind of cut off his retreat path here, so these are committed Stalkers now.
I do like the fact that he got the tank, though.
Yeah, that is quite nice. The Stalkers are, you know, they're cheap, quite a bit cheaper than gas, but similar in minerals, so they're not exactly the cheapest unit in the whole world to lose like 6 or 7.
No, and it's not necessarily a unit that you're like, oh man, I need to keep my Stalker count for late game, because no, you don't really. But I think this is a pretty darn good job by Deer, and we see that in the supplies. 63 workers to 48. He just has no fear when it comes to chrono boosting out his probes right now.
And Storm is going to be the next follow-up. Honestly, this is a pretty interesting follow-up from Deer because you've just seen so many more Colossus follow-ups in this matchup. Going straight for Storm, that kind of fell off to the wayside because of how much better EMP is now and how a lot of Terrans were just getting those Ghost Academies after 3 bases. So, pretty cool to see. It might catch SpeCial with his pants down.
A few Stalkers are waiting for that Raven. It was spotted by the Observer and taken out, but better than that ending up in your mineral line without spotting it at all. Wow, 8 more gateways for Deer going down at this point. I don't see any 4th Nexus. Oh, there we go, there we go. I was like, oh, I was going to hold my breath for SpeCial, but SpeCial's done a good job of kind of inching ahead in supply a little, despite kind of being put under quite a bit of pressure.
Yeah, his army's quite bigger. But what I'm worried about here is the fact that, you know, his army is bigger, but he is going to have to deal with some very bad weather then once he goes across the map. As the High Templar are being warped in, Storm is done. And that is a spell that you, I mean, if you can split like Van Damme, then you're all good, but don't rely on that.
No, and SpeCial, like, one of his strengths is the fact that he has a lot of variety in his play, but when it comes to splitting against Storms, I think we see Deer utilize the Warp Prism a lot with his drops, and look at this. He no longer has the Raven to shut that down entirely. That was a bit risky there. Oh, in fact, he does have the Raven, yes.
Yeah. And he does have energy for a lockdown, but just the one. So he's just trying to pick off units that he can there, grabs a Stalker and still micros back. He knows about the Prism and he knows about that Storm is ready as well. So he's just being very careful. The Widowmine's Pyroid, I think Deer sees it though. Yes, he does, absolutely. Storm going down the front line there of the Terran, getting a few of those Bio units. SpeCial still sticking around. Let's say Templar. Wow, that is a nice Storm. That did quite a bit of damage there to the Bio. And he did lock down that Prism with Interference Matrix like you mentioned. So they weren't a part of the battle, but no surprises at all to see that Ghost Academy for SpeCial being made during that engagement.
And behind all this, Deer's actually adding on more Stalkers to his composition, so he's really relying on this very, very heavy Stalker count. Actually takes out the Raven quite easily there in his main base. And wow, upon seeing so many Stalkers in the main, he's like, you know what, I'm just going to go for the main base. But the scan kind of gives it away to the Protoss player that, oh my gosh, why is he scanning here? It's not for info, because he already knows what I'm doing. It's for safety for his drops.
Yeah, absolutely spot on there, and Deer, good read as well. Moves his army to the south and keeps the Stalkers in the main here. SpeCial's Medivacs unload down the low grounds. They're trying to pick up the High Templar here. Gets one of them, does eat another Storm. And still more High Templar in the Prism, don't forget. So SpeCial's going to pull off the map here. I think that's a good call. It doesn't feel great giving the map to the Protoss, but you kind of have to respect this army.
And look at this production tab as well. SpeCial's getting Ghost to try and counter what he's already playing against, but now Deer's taken into the Colossus/Disruptor abilities, and that's going to be really problematic for SpeCial because he can barely handle this stage of the attack, never mind the next one.
You drop in those Widowmines. It does get rid of a lot of the charge slots here. Still more coming in though. More where that came from. In come the Ghosts. Doesn't actually drop an EMP at all just yet. Might not have energy. There it is, that one EMP, and it's just not enough. And that was a very, very fast and pretty one-sided 2-0 from Deer. Honestly, to me, I did not expect that. I thought that SpeCial would put up a bigger fight.
what a slaughter. Like, it really was a slaughter. I know SpeCial's really, really good, but he didn't even get his foot into that series at all. He was just shut down at every opportunity. Dia didn't fall for any of the mind games. He made all the right moves, good scouting, good preparation. SpeCial just was not ready for that.